And let's just settle into our meditation, stillness. And whatever posture is going to work for you tonight, just put yourself there, whether you're sitting with your legs down, cross-legged. It is best that you don't kind of slouch back into the couch or the chair that you're sitting in. But if you aren't feeling very well or you're really tired, that's okay too. Just be comfortable. Main thing is to just check your spine. So you're starting at the base, the coccyx. And imagine your spine is this string of pearls of light, and it stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. You can imagine somebody has a piece of string. They're very gently lengthening your spine. It's getting longer, putting some space in between those vertebrae. Lengthen your neck. And just when you're tipping the head forward, just imagine it's like a hinge. So try not to allow the head just to kind of pull you out of alignment. So just tip the head slightly forward with the chin down and the eyes looking along the length of the nose. If they were open, tip the tongue, ears on the roof of the mouth. Relax your jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and just relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth. Back of the head. Imagine the inner ear relaxing and your temples and the back of your tongue. And release any tension in the neck and the shoulders. And allow your shoulder blades to just drop down. And just relax the rest of your body. Throat, chest, and belly, and all your limbs. And bring your mind to the breath. Just notice you're inhaling and exhaling. And notice those very subtle sensations on the outside of your nostrils, and then the air as you're breathing in is slightly warmer than the air you're exhaling. Sorry, cooler. And then just notice if there's any sounds in your environment. I know some of you have pets there, people in your home. Just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with your mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what's arising. What thoughts? Did you disappear for a moment there? And try not to judge what's going on in your mind. Having opinions or negative self-talk. Just allow the thoughts to arise and just examine them with some curiosity. Just notice what's there. Then you won't be surprised. And just allow. You can sit back like a scientific observer, like a scientist, observing with some level of objectivity. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, the ones you care about and want to protect, and spouses and children, dear friends. And then you have those folk in your life who are a little more difficult for you. And then your strangers. Remembering they can change place. Trying not to take for granted those relationships that are very meaningful in our life. Those kinds of relationships take quite a lot of merit. So once we appreciate that, we will probably just let all those tiny little niggly bits and pieces go and just focus on the main picture. And one way to think when we're developing equanimity is that all these people in our life, all these people we know, they all are equal. They're the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and in having this unbelievable capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this practice tonight for the benefit of all these people in our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And then remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We're creating negativity with our mind, so why not change it? We can equally create positivity with our mind instead. And we do have the power to do this. We just need to know how. So what we're doing tonight is one technique. There's many. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all your past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, you can regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we can't really deal with any more suffering perhaps than we're already experiencing. So therefore, it makes sense that we would remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not particularly wanting this Buddha to forgive us. I mean, it would be nice if the Buddha thought well of us, but we're not asking for purification, for forgiveness. We're not asking Buddha to do anything other than we're using his visualization, and we're using this method to purify ourselves. So you can imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher, your guru, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. And think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then you can think of perhaps people who've harmed you, and think that they are going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So try and develop a sense of compassion for them. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and we start with the body. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around, enters your crown, and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sutame Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So the next is a purification of speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, and the light that comes on dispels the darkness in the room. So imagine the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, that light dispels all the negativity in the mind. So all the depression, if there's any violent thoughts, if there's any anger, bitterness and grudges, if you've got maybe some unhealthy attachments, some unhealthy desire, maybe you've got jealousy, grudges. So all of that instantly dispelled with this mantra and the light. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. They're gone. They're finished. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion, creativity, phenomenal intelligence. So the next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time you can imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tira me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa. Anurakta meboa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bala mahasamaya satva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawa siti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bala mahasamaya satva aham pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to the power of resolve. So first of all, just rejoice in the efforts that you've been making for almost 2 years now, doing this night after night. So it must have had some impact on your life. So maybe make note of the impact that this practice that you've been doing, the effort that you've been putting in, the impact that it's made on your own life and maybe other people around you. And so we just keep working on things because we're human and we have habits, and just make a determination, a decision that we're going to refrain from harm. And once we sort of let go of that, once we decide that, you're just making space for your wisdom to arise. You're making space for compassion to arise. All these unbelievable qualities that are in us, that are there, and that have always been there, and they're available to us at any time we wish. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while, and we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. O tup shu chang shin jam gon gyalaway, Tenzing kyong pelaway, Konza dog porze, chog sum gurway leg mon to drup, pa dog sog dulje, gon du jab ten chog. Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. For Geshe-Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Thank you so much for hosting, Mary.